This is the first opener of firearm deer season I've participated in since 2007. That's when I was in Illinois. And then life and everything else, meeting Holly and everything else got, precedence over that. So deer camp to what does deer camp mean? It means many different things to many different people. If you ask anybody that's participating in a deer camp this year, they will have their own unique meaning towards it. Whether it is to get out in the woods, camaraderie with your friends or family, whatever that definition is, there's, I don't think, a wrong answer to that. Some people only participate in firearm gun season. That's the way I was for many years until I took up archery. Didn't do that good with archery. Got two deer in 9 years, and now here I've gotten one deer in 50 hours, so that's a little better ratio. But we had deer camp back home, me and the guys. We didn't drink, we didn't smoke, we hung out at what was a built purpose of a wash house that was on the old homestead, and then it turned into a storage building, which the building was, I think, 16 by 20, and that's where I converted over and turned it into a cabin. It was 10-15 minute walk from the woods that I hunted in. Then you get in the car and you drive anywhere on the farm and hunt there as well. But the guys would always come over, and it didn't matter if it was July, January, or November. We would watch deer hunting videos on DVD, Mossy Oak or Primos or Realtree. We'd have it on. And I think one year, I don't know what year it was, but we had a deer hanger, and the total, there was Matt, Theodore, myself, my two brothers, and I think Mike. We were all within 3 to 4 years of each other in age. That year we took down 13 deer total. That was for the whole season, from archery to gun to muzzleloader. And we'd hang them up at the cabin, take pictures, and that was just what we did. And I see these videos, and you've seen them too, where they have multiple people at camp, and they all sleep in the same tent in bunks. Which is cool and neat and great and all this stuff. But there's always one person that sleeps great. And then there's 4 or 5 other people that have miserable nights because the one person sleeps great because typically the one person snores. Or there's always multiple people that never get a good night's sleep. That's the way I see it. We tried that at the cabin. I think there was 6 or 7 of us in that little cabin, or that little building that we converted to a cabin. We did it one time and that was it. But we had deer camp, I think 2007 was the last deer camp I had, and that was the last deer camp that was held at that cabin. And then Matt and Theodore, those are brothers, those are cousins. They took it up, I think, on their property for a couple of years. And then I think Lauren was a cousin. He didn't hunt. He more just hung out and filmed for Matt, or when Ben, which was a brother of Theodore and Matt, and then there was another Matt, he would film and hang out. He wasn't a hunter. But yeah, I think we had it for several years, like probably 5 years maybe, deer camp. And they would take pictures at the cabin on the hanging rack, and then either take it to the butcher, or they would go take it and butcher it out at their house, or the ones I killed I would butcher out on the table behind the cabin. So yeah, deer camp. For if you're watching, you don't know what that is like. Not so much the hunt or the kill. Many people go into that as getting meat and feeding family, but it's like your favorite team waking up on Super Bowl Sunday and watching your favorite team win, or Daytona 500 if you're NASCAR, or Indy 500, or Christmas if you're secular, or waking up on Christmas knowing that's the birth of Christ if you're a Christian believer. That type of emotional connection is what deer camp is to many people. I was never one. Ben got older. Ben was the youngest guy of cousins there. Lauren would film Ben or the non-brother Matt, Ben's non-brother. There was Matt and Matt. I never wanted anybody to film me because my goal to go out in the woods was to knock down a deer, take a deer home. And I didn't need any issues with somebody else sitting beside me moving or saying I got the shot, go ahead and take it. I needed to focus on putting a deer on the ground. And I think some of them filmed themselves. Now, when I say film, this was 2004, 6, 2007. This is well before the technology that we have now, where you can, you got a Tacticam that you slip on the on your bow or your gun, or you can mount it on a tree. You got all these fangle dangle things, the GoPros and all. That was all before. This was ancient. You might as well just had a rock and chiseled your image in on a rock that you were trying to capture um, on that type of situation. Um, so and in Illinois, back when I hunted, another story. I started hunting in '94. No, wait, hold on, that's not right. '95. I would hunt with Dad occasionally in '94. I think maybe '93. But I went on my own. I got my hunter safety course done in '95, and then I got my first deer in '95, button buck with the shotgun at 84 yards away on the last morning of the season. In Illinois, I'm pretty sure it's the same as it always been. The Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before Thanksgiving, and the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday following Thanksgiving. Here in Wisconsin, it is the Saturday before Thanksgiving to the Sunday following Thanksgiving consecutively. In Illinois, it breaks it up over 2 weekends. Um, and in the 90s or late 90s, you could, and it was a shotgun only down there. Here, it's any way you can ethically take down a deer. So, bazooka, cannon, rock, and a potato gun. I don't know. I'm using an 870 Remington 12 gauge deer slugs. Getting to the point, back then you could sit in the tree stand on opening morning, and you couldn't keep up with the tally. I mean, if you had a notepad, 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 30 shots an hour would not be uncommon. And then as it got into the 2000s and 2005s, and that opening morning got quieter and quieter, not because there were less deer, just because it seemed like there was less hunters. So I'm interested to see how the noise, how that sounds tomorrow morning. Will there be a lot of boom, 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 or is it going to be very, very quiet, like it is with archery, where you'll hear a gunshot off in the distance, like somebody goose hunting or waterfowl or squirrel hunting or something, or grouse? Or is it going to be pretty heavy? Because I know behind our property there is a property that people are hunting on, and then back on the other side there's people that's hunting. There's hunters over here. I'm the only one on our property. Nobody to the neighboring property that I'm aware of. They looked like they packed up and left last weekend with the camper, their pull-behind camper. So I'm interested to see what that noise consistency is. And the joke of hunting back where I was from was schools, where I'm from, in southern Illinois, a lot of schools just took off that day. Like, they didn't go to school. I went to school. It was up to, I think it was freshman or sophomore year in high school before they made that rule, or they changed that. Because I remember in 7th grade hunting, passing up on a little on a deer that I don't know why I passed up on it, but going to school, coming back home hunting, and that was, I remember doing that. And then they changed it to a teacher institution day because half the kids weren't at school and half the teachers weren't at school either. So the joke of it was everybody was in their stand on Friday morning. Some people didn't hunt Friday evening because they didn't want to deal with getting a deer and then having to deal with it in the dark. Saturday morning, like, every stand was full. Saturday night, hit and miss. Sunday morning, a fraction of the stand. This was the joke. No, but there's no statistics on this. But like 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon at the first season, pretty much anybody who was hunting, if they didn't get a deer, they pretty much said, forget it, we're going home. And the joke was, well, you can sit in any, you shouldn't do this, but you could sit in any tree stand in the county because nobody's going to come out and go, you're in my tree stand, because they've all quit and given up. And it was even more, that was even more of a reality the last Sunday of the second season, where people were just, they would hunt. Thursday people worked, Friday afternoon people would get off early, they would go hunt, and then Saturday and Sunday morning that was it. And if they didn't get a deer, I was out there every single time I could, trying to get, fill the tag.